Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. We have Jimmer Fredette to talk a little bit about shooting. Jimmer, let's talk about the big things that we've been focusing on recently, which is the hop. Are you a hop or a 1-2 shooter?
I usually use the hop most of the time. Every once in a while I'll get a 1-2 if I'm coming off a screen and I have my foot going correctly, but most of the time I hop into it, catch so I can turn my shoulders as I'm hopping so I can get that shot off a little bit quicker.
Well, that's great that you mentioned the word turn, because that's the next thing we've been looking at is the turn. You're not exactly 10 toes squared to the rim. Do you feel like you have that turn?
Yeah, usually you're not fully square to the rim, and even on your free throws, when you shoot free throws, you kind of turn your shoulders a little bit so that your elbows getting in and making sure that it's going straight every time. So usually you're not perfectly straight lined up to the basket. You usually have that shoulder in a little bit.
Were you taught that as a fundamental, or is that something you developed over time?
I think it's just more natural. You kind of get taught it a little bit. I was always taught to put your right foot forward a little bit when you're shooting, and always shoot forward and make sure you're extending towards the basket, which makes it so that you turn a little bit when you shoot. It just makes the ball go straighter, and that's what you feel most comfortable with. And the other ways seem a little bit weird to me.
How about the dip? We've talked about that a lot, where coaches will try and get you not to bring the ball down on the catch. Do you feel like you dip when you catch it?
I feel like I do, usually. Every once in a while, if I catch it way up top, sometimes you got to get it off quick. But most of the time, it's kind of a rhythm thing. You catch, and sometimes you can get the shot off quicker like that just because you feel more natural, and you get a better feel for the shot. So usually I do dip it, and I think a lot of guys in the NBA do, but they're still able to get the shot off quick.
And the last thing we have on this one, or a couple things, is the sway, where you let your feet gently flow forward and almost hinging at the waist. You do that, and is that something that was taught to you, or again, is that a natural thing for you?
I think it's just natural. I'm a jump shooter, so when I shoot, I jump pretty high off the ground, and I think it's natural for me to kind of sway and go forward, towards the basket. I was always taught that, but it just feels natural to me as well. I don't try not to go backwards. It's tough to get your balance, and you're using more arms if you're going backwards instead of using your legs when you shoot it going forwards. So I was always taught that, but it feels natural too.
So we have the hop, turn, dip, sway. Not always taught. Sometimes people think it's natural. They'll just get it. Are these things that you think should sort of be fundamentals that are taught from an early age from going forward?
I think that I think you should, yes, but I think also, however the kid feels comfortable shooting, I wouldn't change it too much. I just try to perfect it, unless it's like a really, looping shot or something that's where it's really, really slow, where you need to get it quicker, because at the NBA level, you do have to get your shot off quicker than you do in high school and in college. But whatever feels natural to them, because there's a lot of guys that shoot a lot different in the NBA. They shoot different, but they still can make shots. So whatever feels comfortable, but obviously those things feel comfortable to a lot of great shooters. And so if you can teach it, that would be great.
Last one. When you shoot, where are your eyes and where are you aiming through the whole shot?
I usually aim like right above the front of the rim. So I don't usually look at the rim. I look right above it, because that's where you want to get it. If you get it above the front of the rim, it's going into the basket. So usually I look right above that front of the rim and try to make it there.
And then you laser-like focus on that area the entire time through the shot, or do you follow the ball?
After I shoot it, a lot of times I'll follow the ball. I'll shoot it, and then I have a focus of where it is, and then you look at it to see where it's going. And obviously you want to hopefully see it go in, but you can also gauge maybe an offensive rebound or getting back and having to get back on defense. So
most great shooters follow the ball. They don't stare at the rim after the release, and so that's the last piece of that puzzle. Is that something that we would ever teach formally, to literally look up at the ball after it's released?
You can. I mean, you can definitely teach people that, but I think most people do it naturally just because they want to see where it's going, and it's kind of it just kind of feels awkward if you shoot the ball and just stare at the rim. You don't really know where the ball is or where it's going, so usually it's a natural thing and probably something you should do.
Love it. Well, thanks so much for joining us, and don't forget, sports fans, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You in? You in, Jimmer?
Oh yeah, I'm in.